Hey heroes, it's Kolz. I'm back with my journey through Nightmare, day number 4. And man, day number 3 was brutal. If you haven't seen that video, go back and give it a watch. I was emotionally wrecked for like days after that one. I cleared 202, and then I went into 203. And I was like, okay, 202 was impossible. Everyone says 203 is hard, but it's not as hard as 202. And as soon as I loaded into 203, I just started dying all over again. 203 is exactly the same as 201, so I know I can beat it. It's not easy. I was not clearing 203 after like 3 attempts. And I'm like, oh crap. I'm gonna have to figure out a new way to clear this content because I just totally screwed the pooch on 202. And if I can't even start beating 203, then all of that on 202 was totally wasted. And that's when I found this new build. I have now developed the Werewizard Build. And this build will let you clear 201, 203, and everything from 203 to 241, I hope. So let's get to the tape. Okay, so given my fragile emotional state after clearing 202, that day I basically didn't sleep the rest of the night. I wasn't in the sound mind to record my whole run. I'm sorry. And so what I'm going to do here through the magic editing is show you the first part of my run in 201, and I'll let you know when I splice in my footage for the start of 203. So I know I can clear 203 with this. And I went back and I cleared 201 with it. People were complaining like, hey Kolz, you're using gems on all your runs. If you're a high level player, you don't have to use gems. And I'm like, all right guys, let's go figure this one out. And so I did. And I created the Werewizard, which I think is probably the best single build that anyone at my level of the game can use to complete Nightmare mode at this point. I had used this build for fun in past runs, but you actually need it now. And you turn the Werebeast into the Werewizard by utilizing wizard gear and the 4-star forge for Arcane staff, because that gives it 90% snare. And that makes all the difference for clearing out stinking wave 2s across all these goddamn levels. While 202 wave 2 is literally impossible, 203 wave 2 is just hard. You're gonna get a ton of turtles, but you actually got experience in wave 1 so that you can build something to deal with them. And that something is going to be maximizing Ice Wand and then maximizing Arcane Staff, because that 4-star forge 90% snare is essentially another stun. And you can combine that with Werebeast's innate tankiness to just survive the content. I load up on 4 pieces of wizard gear and 2 pieces of knight gear. Because his shield is based off percent health, you're looking for other places to increase his health pool. You do that in 2 other spots. You get it by using double snail in his pets. It adds a shit ton of health. I also figured out that the Sentry Specialist at tier 1 forge offers you 200 health. So I was like, I'll take that. The one thing I'm missing is 3-star Werebeast. I think with 3-star Werebeast, you're basically invincible because that shield will then be 30% of his health instead of 20% of his health. For jewels, you're going to combine some amount of regeneration with area of effect, evasion, and I just dropped the ultimate jewels. You are not going to be ultimating or, casting his ultimate. So those 2 jewels are totally wasted. I have 1 really high HP jewel, so I added that in there. You could add more regeneration, more evasion, just you don't need the ultimate stuff. It is important to include vulnerability. If you don't include vulnerability, you're not going to clear any horde and you're not going to be able to level up in wave 1. And this strategy is basically all about leveling up enough in wave 1. You have all your damage and stuns ready for wave 2. So you can see here now that I'm basically going to be like in my world record of like that I was totally joking about hitting the most death rays at one time. I'm going to challenge it here because these turtles don't die, but each additional ray locks on to 6 or 7 more based on my projectiles. They're going to be essentially frozen in place. And then you can combine that with the Werebeast just crazy tankiness and he'll survive through it. And so at this point, I'm going to switch over to the end of wave 2 of the actual 203 run. And so you can see here now that like if I was doing a regular run, I'm swarmed by horde and they are whacking on me and I am not going to make it. But because I am the Werebeast and I'm able to heal through damage, I can take some. And so whereas with like Clockwork Mage, you have to do very precise V movements in order to like control like how many horde are on the screen at once. Werebeast, it don't matter. He's going to heal and he's going to have his shield come up enough that his life pool is so giant, you're going to live through it. I'm trying to do a pattern where you kite right, up, left, up, like that. And then, of course, avoid Flock of Seagulls. Flock of Seagulls will still get you, but you're going to have them hitting you. You just have to keep trying to hit patterns where like they're not hitting you constantly. The other big thing is having the Basilisk ultimate, combining that with Crossbow. So like that 1 point in Crossbow lets me apply the Basilisk ultimate to everything. And when it's active, I stop taking damage. So now we're on to wave 3. And like in 202, wave 3 is easier than wave 2. At this point, I'm thank God I can finally beat a level without using a stinking revive. Because now all the haters out there can't hate anymore. Or at least they can just hate me a little bit less. And so here we go on to wave 3. And like, I am just so excited at this point to not be constantly failing. Because 202 drained me. And then I tried doing 203 several times and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. It's not easy. And 203 and 201 aren't easy either. And so you need to have a strategy going in to deal with all the crazy amount of horde. Werewizard is how I recommend. If you can get up to level 23, 22 in wave 1, we'll let you clear most of the content in Nightmare mode, including earlier stages. It's interesting now that Shield Warden is basically non-existent. You just get hit too much for his shield to ever regenerate, and so he doesn't get the health bonus that he used to get. On these stages, you just get hit too much for the Shield Warden to make sense. And so right now, Werebeast is the only one that can actually get through this. I don't believe anybody that used Clockwork Mage should get through 202. I think Wave 2 is just impossible. You need to be like Heroic Gear Warlord in order to get through it. Until I see a video proving otherwise, that didn't use a butt ton of gems, that's what I'm choosing to believe. But once you get past 202, 203 is hard. You can see here, like, from dealing with flocks of seagulls and getting hit by the horde. But these snares are slow. I just saved my life. And then they combine with the on cooldown crossbow, make sure that I'm not losing this run. And this one is gonna work because the Werebeast makes it so. Look at him go. This one too, you might notice that there are slow projectiles, and so you do need to run night boots. In 202, you don't even need night boots. 202, you can run whatever top level boots you got. In 203 and 201, they have slows, and so you do need to run night boots. And there it is. Cleared 203. Hooray. And there's my Tesla telling me that it's ready. Look at the sparkles. There's the build. Screenshot it for posterity. And start thanking all my lucky stars that I beat 203. And the Werewizard is now born. And let him go forth and multiply and prosper and help you clear 201, 203, and any other levels of Nightmare mode that you're having trouble with. Alright, I'm Kolz. Thanks for following along in my journey through Nightmare. Remember to please subscribe if you like this content, and like the video if you liked it. And remember, always do your adventures! Woo.